Welcome back, everyone, to the FUT Tiers Podcast. And this week, we're going to have a little bit of a different format. We're going to be trying a new format with the podcast. So rather than having just the one big bumper weekly episode, we are splitting things down into two episodes. So today, in this episode, we are talking FIFA and football-related stuff. And then later in the week, we'll be having a Q&A and hot takes episode. So the Q&A section, the bit at the end, is being in its own episode. But as always in FUT Tiers Podcast, I am joined with Brad and Luke. How are you both doing today?
Hello. Yeah, I'm okay. It's been really muggy today. I don't know about you guys where you are. I know me and Mers are probably quite at other ends of the UK, really. But yeah, it's been super muggy despite the rainfall here today, and that's made me very uncomfortable at work. I'm not gonna lie.
It's made me very uncomfortable at home. I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah, you are. Probably directly almost in the middle of us.
Pretty much, and yeah, it's still been muggy for me for sure. Also, hi, by the way.
Hello, yes.
Hi. I mean, I've been at work, but when I'm at work, because I do a new sort of role at work where I'm feeling like beers, wines and spirits, and down that part of the store, it's a bit disgusting because you have like 50 spotlights, not really much of an air con going on, so it's quite warm down there, so it feels like I'm just sweating buckets all the time as I'm working, so yeah, a bit unpleasant. But we are in Futties week 3 right now, and this time out we have Serie as the theme for the main bulk of it. So with that, obviously we've got some Serie A players. SBC wise, so Barella won the 3-player vote with Duvan Zapata, who's come out tonight because we are recording on Sunday, as second place out of the 3 players. Objectives wise, dynamic duo is not a perfect link.
No.
It is just a strong link. It is just a strong link with Tammy Abraham and Veretout, which is quite an interesting one, because I thought dynamic duos is meant to be perfect links.
I thought so.
Am I just wrong?
I thought so, and my prediction I thought was a shoe-in. Paul Pogba, Rabiot. I thought, come on, here we go. I'm going to get ahead of the game, but no, they disappointed us.
Haven't they both had cards previous years? I think it might have been the same year when it was firstly Summer Heat with the paint explosions. Didn't they both get cards then? Obviously they weren't a perfect link at the time because Pogba would have still been United.
No, yeah, he was still at Man U.
I believe
did they both get one, actually? I do remember Rabiot getting one, definitely.
Because Ndombele had one as well. That was FIFA 20, I'm pretty certain.
So Rabiot definitely had one in FIFA 20. Did Paul Pogba have the one? I do remember the paint splatter. I thought it was brilliant. That card design was so good. Yes, he did.
Full
yeah,
knowledge.
95 rated. Yeah, so I mean, I suppose it would have been a little bit of a repeat, but hey, we do know he'll have to do that anyway.
And this whole promo is about repeats throughout this year, not prior years.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you guys feeling about the Barella and Zapata cards? I know certain Luke will be happy with one of those players, for sure.
Yeah, Barella looks good, but of course I care about the Colombian card. I need to build an endgame Colombian team, okay? Preferably first owner. So I've been all over that Diaz, all over that Zapata. I will be done part of him, yet to complete him fully, and I'm all over that Cordoba that I've got.
I mean, have you been collecting them throughout the FIFA cycle?
What kind of a stupid question? Of course I have. Of course I'm on that.
Okay.
I see Colombia.
Just double checking.
I see Colombia is getting done.
So there shouldn't be a single Colombian player missing from your collection, yeah? That is
most likely. I've not got my club open at the moment, but I would assume so. Yes.
In terms of the SBCs, they've added an additional SBC in terms of like these 85 plus, but they've had a 90 plus times 7 pack. The requirements for it was a bit interesting because they did it as 3 SBCs, so it was 89, 88, and then 84 rated teams. So a bit of an intriguing one because I was not expecting it to be that expensive. I thought like EA have generally tried to go with cheaper end of like the requirements. Like you look at the SBC players that have been coming out, like no one's been higher than 87, but that was only on one player. Everybody else has been typically around the 85 sort of mark.
Yeah.
Then you got the 85 plus, that's 87, just a single SBC, and then they go and do this. I was like, man, what are you trying to do? Join my club?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but I suppose at that point, I guess their thoughts are that a lot of people have done the 85 times 10s, because by this point there's been maybe 8 attempts at the 85 times 10. So there's quite a lot, unless you've got duplicates that you've had to obviously recycle, quite a lot of players in your club where you'd get like most of this done. But not only that, obviously it's now at the stage where a lot of those cards are a lot cheaper in the game. So that SBC, even with how high rated those squads were, was sitting at 350k. Now I know at this stage in FIFA 350k is a lot. Won't deny that. Like, it is a lot of coins for people to be using right at the end of the game. But you know, at any other point earlier in the years, that sort of ratings of SBC is closer to like $750,000, isn't it?
Most likely. I mean, the problem is a lot of the fodder cards are going up in price a little bit. Like, this is the one time where fodder cards have actually genuinely done a proper rise. Beyond like maybe the icon SBCs having an effect on them. So you say that, but I think actually some of the SBCs are a bit more expensive to do right now.
I just think that because like obviously there's so many special cards in packs now, and it's like very easy to just pack a 90 something rated player who's worth like 20k. Whereas obviously during the rest of the years, this sort of high rated SBC, because there's not as many cards to put in and special cards are still holding some sort of value, I think that's why they've probably done it, knowing that like a lot of people will at this point have free cards in terms of high rated fodder. But not everyone does, and if people did want to do this to try and get that final push to get Tots Messi, Tots Ronaldo, there's a lot of obviously other team of the year Jorginhos and things, but then obviously not. Or Rafael Leao is in there, isn't he? He's quite expensive still. Then I mean the craziest one I saw was Jude Bellingham's. Like, to think that that card is now under 100k.
And annoyingly, I got him in a player pick today and saw that firsthand.
Yeah, you think that like even at this stage in the game, I know that like, you know, it's now coming to the end and not a lot of people are using this card, but maybe would like to experiment with it, and now they can, because actually, as I just now typed in, he's 55,000 coins, which is insane. This card was how much at one point? 4 mil, was it?
When I packed him about, what was it, a week ago? Because I got him, I can't remember which set of objectives, but it was one of the player picks. I opened it up for 3 wins. I got Jude Bellingham, and he was about 200k.
Yeah.
So in I think about a week he's dropped by 150k. But I think the problem is this is it. With all the packs, it causes them to drop down quite easily, because some people are opening up tradable packs. But I think as the price comes down, they get packs even more, because like, hey, EA's like, yeah, we'll increase the pack weight of this one because he's quite cheap, because they want to keep the expensive players as the reduced pack weight, and cheap ones have the increased pack weight. So I think that just causes the collapse in the price.
Yeah, if people think that this is all based on ratings, then they're wrong, because like I remember like that 87 Renato Sanchez card, like wasn't commonly packed back in the day because of how expensive it was. It's definitely not based on rating, it's definitely based on price in game, because yeah, like you say, people will now get Jude Bellingham and think, oh, I've packed a banger, and then now go and find out, oh, it's 50k. But that is happening to so many people, and I've seen like a lot of these 90 plus rated things. A lot of people are actually getting like team of the years, like team of the year Hakimi or team of the year Jorginho, you know, and this like they're just stupid prices now.
They I mean, yeah, they are stupid prices, but the good tip is just buy some of them, because once they go out of packs, they'll go back up in price. So that's a good treat.
Yeah, if you're interested in making coins at the end, I suppose.
Just make sure they don't have a better version that's not in packs.
Yeah, but the fact that 97 Jorginho is now under 100k is just unreal.
Team of the year's under 100k. That's the times. That's the time to be alive.
One thing I will say with Futties is, EA, how long is it going to take you to release a centre back?
Oh yeah.
Futties centre back. It's still again like midfielders, fullbacks, because we've had Cornet as the other objectives player.
Diallo got one.
Jonathan David.
Diallo got one last week.
Oh, yeah,
Diallo.
yeah.
Sorry, Diallo.
Sorry,
goalkeeper then. Goalkeeper.
There you
We
go.
want
Sorry,
a
I had something in my
goalkeeper.
throat.
There you go. Second centre back. You know, I want to complete a full Futties starting 11 without having to have an outfield player in goal. Come on, EA, do it. De Gea. I want an improved version of De Gea.
No, let's go super
He's got a
flashback
90.
and get Begovic.
Begovic, jeez. Because what? The one that De Gea's already got himself a 93 moments card for Team of the Season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want a better version of that. You know.
Really?
That's not going to come for
stats
like another
Alisson.
month. That came out
Alisson
what?
like stats.
March? No, March. May. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you want the May favourite to be?
Surely the only person like most likely to get one is going to be Edison, given he's got no special card this year.
Yeah, but the Futties is about mainly players that it's partially, except for the vote. I think the only time it might be the exception to the rule, but in terms of the favourites, like your January favourites and stuff like that, and Futties favourites, it's all to do with people that have had special cards, and they're just like going, oh, you guys enjoyed this card in this month, right? Now here's a juiced up version of it.
This is the
I suppose
perfect
so.
time to release Mandanda. Everyone loves Steve Mandanda.
So we can expect to see an improvement on the Foot Fantasy Jose Sarr.
Possibly.
Yes, probably. The man that should have deserved to get a Team of the Season card, yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely
Save it
up
for the
there
hot
in
takes.
terms of that.
But talking about other things with Futties, so obviously we have this weekly Futties Cup, and quote unquote from myself here, biggest cock up EA have potentially made this FIFA, but it's more the biggest cock up because of pure fact that people have been hugely punished. Well, not hugely punished, but they've been punished for EA making this mistake. So with the Footy Cup, we've had normally a 5-game per day limit on how many games you can play to get towards the 27 wins and the rewards and stuff. But they forgot to do that this week. So everybody, including myself, went in the first day, 2 days, trying to get to that 27 wins for the massive amount of rewards and stuff that you can get. But the problem was, if you quit out or play X amount of games within a short period of time, like say half an hour, you get soft banned for 24 hours where you're not allowed to play any game. If you do try to play a game, you can play a game, but you'll get kicked out at the end of it and you'll get a DNF. So the game doesn't actually count, which is a bit of a silly thing because it's like, here you got a soft ban, but you can still play the game, but we'll kick you out at the end of it. Like, if you're going to put a soft ban, you should stop people actually physically
We shouldn't be able to match, mate.
being able to go in the game. Yeah, they should have locked it off, but they obviously didn't. So a lot of people, because I uploaded my rewards and I was getting comments of people saying, oh, I can't seem to be able to play any games. I've reached the end and I'm getting kicked out. I'm like, okay, this is a bit intriguing. So I was like, I did another one saying, have any of you guys been soft banned? Put it in the comment section down below. And like loads of people were just like, yeah, I've been soft banned. And it turns out, yeah, it's 24 hours. Which doesn't seem right. Like, if EA are making a massive boo-boo like this, you should not be punishing your player base because they're trying to do golden goal, which at the end of the day is just trying to save us time. I know. The weird thing is EA recently had modes with golden goal in it, but now they've sort of removed it from the mode. So I'm guessing they've gone back to their stance of, we don't like golden goal. How dare you do it? We don't want you to save yourselves time. But what do you think? What are your guys' stance on this right here with EA and people getting soft banned and them making the big boo boo in the first place?
I'll let Luke start with this one because I'm trying to find the guy's name who I think is in charge of this.
I mean, it's just dodgy as hell, right? I'm fortunate. I only just started doing mine today, so I've not been caught up in this hot mess. But yeah, that's dodgy as all hell. I don't really.
And the problem is,
I don't know what to
if people have entered FUT Champs because they might have started it before 6 p.m. on Friday, but then this came out and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this now, and then being soft banned all weekend, they might have lost the opportunity to play their FUT
That's
champs,
true,
or started playing the FUT champs, played 1 or 2 games like with this soft ban on, not realising the soft banned, and then getting DNFs because of it and affecting their results.
I hadn't really thought of it that way, actually.
It crossed my mind.
Like you say,
that
it's potentially ruined their whole plans for like their weekend of FIFA.
Which might mean free entries to Weekend League next week then, for everybody. Whey!
Maybe Weekend League extended by a day. I mean, it's a bit late in the day for that to happen, but maybe.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that, because I completely forgot about mine after starting Friday evening. Yeah, I'm now stupid and having to play a lot of games, so that's fun.
Have you found out who this guy is that's apparently in charge
of
all of this?
My browser seems to have just crashed. But basically, there was a guy from EA who commented on a post I made about getting disconnected during a game, and I basically mentioned golden goal, and he took it the wrong way. He was commenting basically saying like, well, if you see our rules on golden goal, then you'll understand why you got banned, and didn't realise that, well, I wasn't actually talking about it, but also that EA obviously have, at that time, had a golden gold mode. So what he was talking about anyway didn't make sense to what I was talking about, because I was referring to like the golden goal mode. It's just that I didn't say mode. I said the words golden goal, and he took it as the, what we do as a community, and started sending me links to like this. You should look at EA's rules on this YouTube video link and see how we deal. And it was just all a bit weird. So I reckon that this is the guy who's been in charge of this. He's maybe even a Birmingham supporter, and is a little bit annoyed that Birmingham don't have any Futties cards in the promo, because they got all their special cards during the year, and this is maybe like his final attack on EA.
Well, Chong's missed his opportunity. He was probably the strongest candidate for Futties favourite.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For whatever month he came out in.
Yeah, he probably was. Yeah.
It would have been like November, December, I think. So it was the same time as Cavallero, actually. It's pretty simple.
There you go. Fulham better than Birmingham City.
Confirmed.
But yeah, it won't be the last of EA's massive mistakes, but in terms of level of mistakes, I do deem this as one of the worst, because of pure fact that a lot of people have been affected. It was similar to, oh god, what was it? I was going to say maybe last year, when they accidentally left a certain section of the web app open so people could give themselves free points and stuff like that. And then people like getting punished for that. Or there was another one earlier this year with, I think it was FUT Champs, and then people got banned from FUT Champs, or banned from the game for about a week.
Yeah, because they were able to quit out, I think, and it not affect their win-loss record.
Yes, no loss glitch.
No loss glitch. And like people did it, and so everybody that was found to be doing it got banned, even though it was their obviously error. But I get what they're saying about people who shouldn't exploit an error if they find one. But at the same time, this year there's been so many to find. Like most people this time round have probably exploited an error, not realising it's an error, and what are they going to do the same to them? It's which, like you say, they have in a way, because they've soft banned people, and actually they're just not. People are just doing what we've been doing all year. It's like you say, that's not going to be the last one, and especially as we now move forward into cross-gen, like there'll be. I feel like there'll be loads this year.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be the last, and it definitely won't be the first big one. Going from Futties, we're now going into Summer Swaps 2. So we've got another set of 50 tokens that are going to be released over the next few weeks, and then we've got like the next batch of SBCs. They've added additional fodder pack as well, which is looking quite good.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to initially say, I think because of how late in the stage of the game is, I only really care about the fodder packs. I don't really care too much about like the team of season, shapeshifter, player picks and stuff that are going to be in it, but we'll run through some of what is available in there, so you can get obviously the Futties player in the second batch is Ben Yedder. So that is a big player.
Yeah, I mean 98 and 97 rated versions of that card. Strike the 98 one with 99 pace, 99 dribbling, 99 shooting. If he wasn't ratty enough in the game.
And the thing is he's got a team of season card that is more than suffice in my opinion as well.
I mean, I love that card.
So in terms of the expense of them as well, come down a little bit in price for the tokens, because the highest one is 36 for Cruyff, but then you have like Icon Moments 94 plus 1 of 4 player pick for 34, and 96 plus Shapeshifters player pick, which is an intriguing one for 32, 1 of 5 as well. So that now, because 95 plus was in batch Summer Swaps one, so this one's now 96, but a bit more expensive. So looking quite interesting. But they do have the 95 plus again.
Yeah, just
and that's
17.
been reduced down to 17. But you've got the 82, 83, 84, 85, and now you've got an 86 plus times 15 fodder pack. But for me, at this stage of the cycle, when I've already been doing quite a lot of Shapeshifter player picks and team of seasonal Shapeshifter player picks, either through the rewards or the SBCs that are coming out, I don't think there's much point going and grinding out too badly at this stage of FIFA for the tokens. I'm just going to go, I'm going to take the 23, I believe it is. 23 worth of tokens for the fodder packs, and maybe if I have extra, maybe go for like Zambrotta for 4, and then maybe the 94 plus Shapeshifters if I've really managed to earn a decent amount. But what are you guys wanting to do with the summer swaps too? What are you maybe initially thinking about wanting to take, and generally, do you think it's even worth of them putting in some of these when you consider like what we've had so far?
I mean, the thing is, like, to us, maybe not, but some people that, like, might have an affiliation to Ben Yedder or have an affiliation to Cruyff or something like that, they're the sort of people that are going to obviously go and take those players. But I think a lot of people will want to try these bigger packs out, like the 94 plus moments pick or the 95 plus moments pack or the Shapeshifters one, like you said. I can see them being, like, one of the popular things to go for with a mixture of the fodder packs. For me, I'm just going to be a bit like you. I'm going to go for the fodder packs, and if I get something else, then I'll be happy. Like, I grinded out to get my 95 plus Shapeshifter player pick, and I did get Kante, and that was incredible. But at this point now, as we near that end and we're looking for that repeatable 85 times 10 to just pack those absolute bangers, then I'm probably just going to try and build fodder to just help me when those packs come along to make it a little bit easier. Especially given that, like, we just had the 90 times 7. So once we get these swaps done and we get even more higher fodder, what are we going to get next? Is there going, there going to be? Are they going to up it to a 90 times 10? Like, there's still scope to move along, isn't there? Or are they going to just keep repeating the 90 times 7 now? In which case, then we need more, as much fodder as possible. So yeah, I'm not bothered about players as such, especially like you say, Tots Ben Yedder only at 150k. If you want to try them out, most people can get 150k fairly easily. And the Di Natale Shapeshifter Heroes, I think a lot of people would maybe at this point have been lucky enough to pack him. So and the only one is Icon Moments Cruyff, and I've actually used him in draft, and this year I haven't gotten well with him as I did last year. Last year I thought he was an incredible icon in the game. This year, not so much.
Luke, what are you thinking?
I'm normally a guy that does it for the content. I'll do them sort of one of the most expensive ones, 100%. I probably will still try and get that Kante myself. So the 96 plus would probably call out to me.
The Shapeshifter player pick. Yeah, I respect that.
32
32 tokens.
Now, what if I said Shapeshifters are going back into packs potentially on Friday?
I wouldn't be shocked. It's fairly expected that just good things are going to be in packs at this point in FIFA.
Would that change your mind? Like, if you, because the thing
if
is,
I get Kante before, then yes, that changes my mind.
Yeah.
Kante is the card I want. Damn it. Bear in mind, these packs get released. These reward SBCs get released on the 12th of August, I believe. So by then, how likely is it the 85 times 10 is just repeatable? Already, just to consider that. At that point, you're probably gonna look at there's probably gonna be 85 times 10s repeatables. I mean, the 90 times 7's already now on. You can do it again. today.
Yeah,
If you did
exactly.
it on
Yeah, it's on daily refresh at the moment at 90 plus. I think it is just trying to encourage people to waste up some of the fodder in the clubs and stuff.
and I am one of those people.
And to be fair, there's no reason why that might not be this year's new 85 times 10.
The 85 times 10 still exists as well.
Yeah, like why not just at the end of it recycle that 90 times 7?
I mean, that might be a harder situation to do another one with just the 7 players, whereas in the thing with last year and the 85,
That was impossible.
that was
to do that
repeatable.
many.
Use
Yeah, you could just do it. Yeah,
because of the fact that it was just one SBC. If they keep the 90 plus times 7 as a free segment SBC until the end of FIFA, then.
but if you remember, they did when you had the 85 times 10, they had the icon moments SBC, and you could do them both. Yeah. Like you could do a part of the icon moments SBC and also do the 85 times 10 over again. So I wonder if that's what they'll do. Like keep the 90 times 7 there, and you'll be able to gradually work away at that with your dupes and still do the 85 times 10.
I would say it's the 85 plus and an icon SBC side by side. That would be my, because people want the icon SBC.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the only way you can get the icons, is you can't get the icons in 95 or the 85 plus.
No.
So.
Oh, I mean, I just wanted so I can get my Puskas.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the only way I got Ronaldinho last year.
I got all of them last year, let's be honest. It's like they was, yeah, they're all there.
But let's leave the FIFA talk there, and let's talk about the Ladies Euros final today. So the final result is England win it 2-1 against Germany in the final. So England ladies team is crowned champions of Europe. What are you guys thinking? Luke, you've watched pretty much most of the game, so I think you're the best suited here to comment on like how well the team played during, especially the first 90 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so I didn't watch much of extra time as we had to sort of head off towards this at that stage, so I disappeared off. But what I did catch of the first half and second half was it started out, we had a great chance in the first minute with, I believe it was Ellen White with a header, and then it was a fairly back and forth game the first half, I think. There was a massive goal line scramble, which could have definitely gone badly for England. There was even a VAR check in there for a handball. Then the second half started, and you could feel the game had changed because Germany were suddenly all over us. We were struggling to do anything.
Yeah.
And then the goal went in. Classic FIFA. We get a one through ball through the entire team, dink the keeper, job done. And then we controlled the game for about 20 minutes, and 75th, 80th minute, somewhere around that time frame, Germany then get an equaliser from a byline and back routine. And yeah, it looked sort of shaky for England from there out for me until I disappeared in about the 90th minute.
Yeah, I thought so. From that point, I definitely thought that we were going to have kind of not done enough to stay in it to get it to extra time. I actually thought Germany were going to not only just equalise but come back. Like you say, they started the second half so strong that I thought actually we could be in trouble now. Got it to extra time, brought on a sub, and yeah, it's one of those things where I guess if it's meant to be your day, it's meant to be your day, because it wasn't the nicest, cleanest of goals to win it. But you know, if you ever said to us, will we take a scrappy goal to win the Euros, whether it be women's Euros, men's Euros, either way, obviously we would say yes. And yeah, so substitute came on in the 64th minute, so actually came on before Germany equalised. But Chloe Kelly just basically finds herself kind of on a receiving end scramble of a corner, poking away, and it just sort of fumbles a couple of times back into a path, and eventually finds it clear through to the goal. And then they just kind of actually saw the game out quite nicely. I saw like right towards the end, in the final moments, we're just kind of keeping possession in the opponent's half, and kind of saw it out quite nicely in the end. But it's awesome, isn't it? Like, you know, like it's all of this whole thing has been awesome. Like I've seen so many things been talked about it, like in the sense of like, this is the best England women's team that we've had. But it also makes that the case for the future, not just for England's women's football, but for women's football in general, because this being, one, an England victory, but also two, being in England, will spark up so much interest for girls at school now to want to play football. And you've got then more interest, which then means you're developing more players, which then means your pool of players for that best of the best to come from is bigger. So whilst our team is really good now, it's come from a pool of players that is lesser than what it will be in, say, 6 to 10 years' time, when girls that are now 8, 9, 10 are going to be like 18 and will be playing at a level that now will be, in that time, so much even better than it is now, especially with, you then get the other side of fitness and football science and all that sort of stuff added into it as well. So it's very exciting for the future of women's football, and nice to see that I think it's going to be a massive boost to certainly England's football academy. And actually one of the girls in the team is from around my area as well, from North Horsham, not far from Norwich.
And the other thing is, it will bring in more investment as well.
Yeah, it should do. I was talking about this a little bit today at work. Someone mentioned about like it being, it being on TV and now, and is this the wrong time because it's not big enough yet? And I suppose, it's that kind of tournament, and it is at that level now where it is going to reach TV. So that, I don't think that's the issue. I just think it's not going to attract like that big money thing. We've talked about it previously, and it's always that thing of like, these rich people come in and inject loads of money into like men's football, but that's because there is so much money and advertisements and everything in men's football. We know that it's massive in terms of its scale, but there will be more. There will be more as we now move on, more for like advertisements, more for sponsorships, more for promoting brands and stuff. And that's obviously the way it should be. Like, it should be, we're leaning more towards, like, we use that term equal rights, but it's not, I don't always think that's the right term, because they're fighting against they're now fighting against what has been a male dominated sport for so many years, and is so massive as a male dominated sport that equality probably unfortunately won't ever be achieved, because it will never maybe be able to reach those heights, but it's certainly going to reach incredible heights, like as a sport for women's football. So yeah, definitely there's always massive positives to come from this. There's going to be a lot more, like I say, a lot more interest, a lot more things. You'll get a lot more like things like little things like community centres and things like that will run like little clubs, and they'll, them sort of places will boom and be a little bit brighter because they'll get more interest and people come to them for football classes and things like that. So generally across the board, it's massive for the game.
Do you want to add anything else, Luke?
The only thing I forgot to mention was there was a post hit by Germany just before their goal. That's the only thing I can really touch on.
Tipped onto the post just, wasn't it, I think? But yeah, was
just about, yeah. I think everything else has been covered.
Good victory indeed. Even if I'm a Spain fan and not really an England fan.
It's alright, we knocked out Spain.
How far did they get?
They got knocked out by England.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Extra time goal. Well, that was by the way, that was a banger as well. What a shot.
But now going into the men's football side of things, and some more confirmed transfers during the week over the past 7 days. So obviously the Jules Koundé saga is definitely over. He has gone to Barcelona for 50 million euros. So it's even more money that Barcelona have spent on yet another signing. It is, yeah, whilst not being able to play some of the players, not actually confirm the registration of some of their players as well. Yeah, it is mental stuff. Another one, so we got Chris Richards, who has signed from Bayern Munich to Crystal Palace for 12 million euros. So nice young acquisition there for Palace. So Palace are definitely like looking like a team that is wanting to build that youthful team for the future, potentially under Patrick Vieira, depending if he gets to stay there in the long term, of course. It's a pet project, basically. Then another signing, we've got Leipzig to PSG for Mukiele for 12 million euros. That's quite a cheap signing. Don't know whether that's because he's not got long left on his contract and potentially age. I'm not quite sure how old he is.
I don't think he's that old.
I don't think he's old at all. I think Mukiele's going to be 25 at a push. Let me just double check.
So that's quite a cheap signing considering like numbers that are getting thrown out like left, right, and centre on some signings like this transfer window.
He's 24.
Yeah, that's
quite cheap for a 24-year-old.
Don't know what the contract situation was, but maybe he's entering his last year's contract.
Yeah.
That for that sort of price, that's what you must imagine it's got to be, because otherwise, why is it not like over 20 mil or something like that easily? It feels longer than 12 months left. But another signing confirmed for West Ham. So from Sassuolo to West Ham is Samaka for 36 million euros. So competition for Mikel Antonio. I think a lot of people have been saying that is being needed, and also just because it offers a better option potentially, because Mikel Antonio is a bit hit and miss in front of goal. And then last signing here, which when I was looking it up, I was saying this is player unknown entity, because it didn't show any name, picture whatsoever. But Tell has moved from Stade Rennes to Bayern for 20 million. So if you guys don't know, apparently it's an 18-year-old forward.
17.
That 17-year-old forward, in fact, yes. So hefty price for a potential future striker for Bayern, because they've got Mane as well. So I guess that's playing backup to rotation option for Mane.
Yeah, I think so.
Bayern
Although
squad.
that might be a little bit of a sort of shock for Choupo-Moting.
Beat me to the punch. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for a Choupo-Moting joke.
Yeah. So he's probably going to have to like find himself going to Real Madrid or Barcelona during this transfer window.
Barcelona? No, they'll pay the transfer.
But probably
fee.
Barcelona, yeah. And like I mean, PK must be absolutely fuming. Let's face it. Like
PK, De Jong, many people. They're
Like,
gonna be fuming.
seeing that like you're bringing another player in and they still haven't been paid their wages. I mean, come on now. Like there's got to be a point where you just think like you are actually taking the.
I'm pretty certain they have a deadline of when they have to pay the wages. These they're not. There's technicalities of this. I'm pretty certain. From when I looked into it, it's what's the term? It's not consolidated. It's I'll think of the term. It was something I used to talk about when I used to doing pensions, but yeah, I think it might be deferred. Deferred wages is what they are.
Oh yeah. I've heard
Deferred,
that
yeah.
term. Yeah.
So yeah, the one I touch on is Scamacca. Antonio definitely fell off midway through last season. He started it incredibly. I think
Started
it was
really well. didn't
11
he?
goals at one point by December, I'm going to say. And then not much since then. West Ham were crying out for a striker in January. They didn't go out and get anyone. But the last Italian striker they had, Simone Zaza. So, just pray that Scamacca is not the next Simone Zaza. No million step run-ups to sky a penalty. None of that.
No.
Hopefully for their sake, he is a quality striker that can help elevate him up the league. It's a very
I've seen him in a
competitive
couple of
league,
games for Sassuolo, and he looks actually pretty good, to be fair.
I don't think there's really anything else to be added to confirmed transfers. Rumours wise, there's obviously still the ongoing situation with CR7 of is he going, is he not going. Apparently he's asked Man United to terminate his contract so that he can leave essentially on a free. Now, that's quite an interesting one because he's only got a year's contract left, so he could potentially do it because there is an article within the regulations of UEFA and or all FIFA. I don't know which one it is. It might be FIFA actually, where players can get the last year of the contract cancelled so that they can leave. But sometimes players actually pay out the final year of the contract. Some people on Twitter saying that surely CR7 could easily afford to do that if he really wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously he does not really want to.
And
I do.
And as much as he may not like the situation he's in, he might see that as a little bit of a sign of disrespect to Man United if he did it. So there might be that kind of playing into the factor, that kind of doing that sort of sets a different precedent, doesn't it? It's a different level of just wanting the club to adhere to your wishes to having to take matters in your own hand. They're two different things, aren't they? And I think maybe you wouldn't want to go out that way, and would just hope that they'll give him what he wants. But I also have seen other things that saying that he's had chats with Ten Hag and there's still plans, but he needs to get into a level of fitness that Ten Hag wants him to be at in order to feature for Man United. So who knows at this point.
Another rumour I can see here is apparently Chelsea are preparing a Frankie de Jong bid. So Chelsea seem like they're linked with quite a lot of people as well, but a lot of the time it seems to get hijacked, or something like with the Ake situation where Man City just end up refusing because they've already lost a lot of players, mainly to Arsenal, this transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've not had the greatest of times in the transfer window so far. They've lost, a few integral players, Rudiger being kind of the main one. I saw him a little bit in the game against Juventus. And yeah, I think like you say, they've been, certainly everyone they've gone for or seem to be interested in, somebody else has taken them off their hands. And I just think, is it Chelsea or is it, I don't know what it is. Maybe people are still a little bit worried with what has gone on there in recent times and recent ownership, and not enough is known at the moment maybe about the new owners, but people have their reasons, I guess. And whether they actually do manage to make any decent signings, I say decent signings, obviously they've got Raheem Sterling. It's all to be seen, I think, and maybe they do need a couple of signings just to maybe make their fans feel a little bit happier about how they've acted in the transfer window.
And sticking with Chelsea, and another one that they're linked with because they want another centre back. Now it's Wesley Fofana's turn to be linked with Chelsea, and that one's going to be a hefty one because he's got 5 years left on his deal with Leicester, and apparently Leicester are going to be asking for at least 80 million.
Wow.
For him. So I think that's going to be another one that does not happen.
Have we seen enough of that guy for him to be 80 million?
Well, he's injured.
He had his pre-season.
Season.
He had his leg snapped, didn't he? So I don't know.
And before that, he had a good season, like the season before that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to stake on someone that, like you say, we've only really seen one really good season out of, and then he spent the other one injured. I know when he came back, he looked still pretty good.
Yeah, there's not really much else can add to the transfer rumours and confirmed transfers. So that is going to be it for this part of this week's episode. So we're going to have the second part later in the week for the Q&A and hot takes. So those that are still not quite new and understanding or of being long-time listeners, yes, this week is going to be feeling very weird with the changes that we are making. But guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode of FUT Tiers Podcast, football and FIFA talk. Brad and Luke, thank you for participating in the podcast as always.
Always a pleasure.
No worries.
And we'll see you all in the hot takes and Q&A part of this podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.